And the Three Billy Goats Gruff was a story about little baby Billy Goat goes clippity clop to a bridge.
Okay.
And underneath the bridge lives a troll who says, "Who goes there? I'm little Billy Goat Gruff. And you can't cross here because I'm the troll without paying the troll." And he says, "Well, just a minute then," says little Billy Goat. He says, "I'm going to go get my big brother." Clippity clop, comes the big brother. Troll says, "Who are you? Cannot pass." Right? And he says, "I'm Billy Goat Gruff." And then their voices change. And he says, "I'm going to go get my big brother." Okay, so then clippity clop, much deeper voice. And long and the short of it is the large Billy Goat rams the troll, throws him into the river, and the three of them pass the bridge. And that's the story of the Three Billy Goats Gruff.
What's the moral of the story?
Get your brother when you're in trouble.
That's a good moral.
Right. It actually was probably about bullying, if you really think about it, because the troll was a bully, okay, to the little guy. And then here came, some help. And then inevitably they put the bully in his place.
Yeah, there's always somebody bigger.
There's always someone bigger.
And goats are assholes.
Yeah. So, to understand this story, I'm gonna get into it. So I need to do a little bit of a preamble. Okay, so you got to set a stage for the time, and it was a moment in time.
Okay.
Can I
And-
just like
Sorry,
get into it?
I knew as soon as I did it.
Yeah, right there. And yeah, we'll just tuck this back there.
Just to understand, what was going on at the time. That's important. So, if you ever watched the movie American Graffiti,
Okay, no, I don't know.
yeah, you should watch the movie American Graffiti, because what it represents a moment in time.
Okay.
And in that time, there was no cell phones. There was no communication. If you wanted to communicate, you ran an ad and you wait 3 days for it to be publicized. Okay. And the best you could do, one house would have one telephone. And it was a big deal to us when the telephone, someone invented an extension cord that went 12 feet. So you became portable. You had a 12-foot zone around the one central location of the phone. And this is kind of interesting because, when you're in the midst of a lifestyle, you don't really, what do you see? You don't see, you only see what it is that you see. So one, you don't necessarily have an appreciation of what it was like before, nor do you ever have an appreciation of what it's going to be like. So you only know what's today, okay? So you live with the things that in the future you look at and you go, how did a guy survive? I used to often think that. Like these people in the woods, they didn't, they came across the prairies, they didn't have toilets. So where did they poop? That I always wondered, where did they poop? So of course they had these outhouses. Well, the houses would fill up. Well, where would you bath? Well, they would bath like once a week because it was a big ordeal. Go down to the creek, carry one bucket of water up the hill, heat it, have a bath. It's like, so then everybody must have just stunk, right? There was no perfumes, there was no, all of that stuff. So, but when you're in that moment, of course, that is your moment. You don't know anything else, so it doesn't bother you. You live with what you have. So, getting back to 1956, 57, 58, American Graffiti. Okay, we were in an era where there's leisure for the first time. In our history, we have the Depression era, we have the Second World War. People grew up really fast. We created the baby boom era. Well, life was fairly decadent in 1956 to 1961 in relationship to what history was. One parent would work, the other parent would stay home. Everybody had a car, okay? And that's the period of affluence started. So here's high school students in 1956. It's like you're looking for something to do. Well, if there isn't a sock hop to go to or a designated dance, then there was no way of communicating. So car was the big thing. What do? You travel up and down Main Street looking for something to do. That's where you met people. Okay, and when you weren't doing that, okay, because it was expensive to burn gas, if you didn't have any money, you weren't working. So what you do, you pulled into the local drive-in, the A&W, and have a root beer, giving you a chance to do the North American mating rituals. Guys looking for girls, girls looking for guys. So watch the movie American Graffiti, and so here it is. I don't know, like 56, 66. We're talking like 1972, somewhere in that period. Time 1973. Here's an example. It's Friday night. You know, you'd phone on the land phone to your friend's house, and mysteriously someone always was there to answer. And you would leave a message on an answering machine, but you didn't even do that. You just went to their house. You didn't use the phone. So you had your little collective group of friends. And so it's Friday night. What do? Okay, you go looking for something to do. There is no Google. There is no Instagram. There is no other way of communicating. You would cruise. So, and to give you an example, like one day we cruised out to Okotoks. Okotoks at that time we may have well been like 1,000,000 miles away.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like country. But we cruised out to Okotoks, cruised up Main Street. Boom, this is how shit would happen. I had a bullwhip in the back of my car, in the window. Girl walking down the street, waves me down, goes, "Why do you have a bullwhip in your back of your window?" And of course, this is your own age group. And I go, typical of a teenager, I don't know, right? Because I do, which is, okay, you want to go to a party? Well, that's how you got introduced to entertainment. So away we go to a party where all the other socialites from the town of Okotoks would hang out, and then you intermixed with people of your own group. So cruising was the thing. Well, you cruise and 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 you cruise, and sometimes you meet some people, sometimes you don't. Otherwise, it becomes pretty boring. But you always cruised in pairs or groups. Okay, you didn't really cruise on your own. So there was a group of us that used to cruise. Now you have to understand the characters. There's me. Okay? Like I'm pretty flashy kind of guy. I'm working and I've got...
What would you be wearing?
Oh, I'd be wearing penny loafers.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, I did come from the hippie era, but I still had penny loafers, and I put dimes in my penny loafers. And bell-bottom pants,
Okay.
blue jeans. I was the first one to do that.
Okay.
Okay, which is we actually had to make our own bell-bottoms. So you bought a pair of blue jeans, you cut them out, and you sewed in a wedge to create your own bell-bottoms.
On the inside or on the outside?
On the outside, just like, and usually a different material. So
Okay.
you just cut it here and
Yeah.
take another pair of blue jeans, an old pair of blue jeans that had holes in them, cut a triangle, and then sew them.
Okay.
And you created your own bell-bottoms. So being stylish was important, okay? But it also had its evolution as well, too. So I'd gone from the hippie era into, I was moving into a little better car, okay? Had been working a little bit.
What year is it?
So this is like 72, 73. So when I say hippie era is like 14, 15. You know, I mean, I cruised the streets when I was like 8. And at 8 years old in those days, everything was relatively safe. It wasn't uncommon. Everybody congregated on the streets, the kids. And you ran after dark, and you ran to parks, and you did weird shit. Weird shit happened too. I remember, you know, at 8 years old, there was a kid who used to run with us. And that's what you did. When I say run, it was like You ran everywhere you went. You know, oh, we're going to go to the park. You ran. I'm not sure what the hurry was, but we all ran. Raided a garden, so we run. And then we'd go ring a doorbell and we would run. And this one kid would run with us. And it was sort of a check of reality because he died one night at 8 years old. We didn't know that he had a heart murmur. And all that running and all that excitement caught his breath. And in the back alleys, the grass was tall. He lied down on the grass to rest. And they found him there, and he died. You know, so there was some weird shit that happened in that period. But in any event, so cruising was the thing. Having your own car, how you dressed, how fashionable you were. The players, me. I'm aspiring to advance my life, some fashion or form. Okay, I want to be the cool guy. So I got penny loafers on. I started to dress a little bit nicer.
What was your hair like?
Okay, my hair was long. Okay.
Did you have a mustache? Or were you...
No mustache, just long hair, right? And most hippies, the problem with the hippie era is that most of them were dirty, and I didn't like that part. So I liked a more cleaner look. So I would comb my hair. Okay, it was fairly long. And so I used to hang around with a guy named John Koss. Okay, John was extremely competitive. We both came from similar cultures. I came from the Polish culture, he'd come from this Yugoslavian group. And they were hard workers. And he had his own business. Well, it didn't matter what happened, John always could do it better. And he always had more. And he made a point of it continuously. It was like, I don't even know why I hung around with the guy. And he always was forever getting me into trouble. And so, you know, we were involved in music and we had this band thing happening and I wasn't very good on an instrument, so I just became the band manager. That seemed to be appropriate for me. You guys play the instruments, I'll be the band manager. You can ask my sister about that. It was a little bit embarrassing because, yeah, I used to wear a cape.
What color was it?
It was black, okay, with those black velvety pants and a cape and slick back hair that was sprayed with hairspray, you know, and it was always perfect, always perfect. And of course, John, he's the bass player, but that isn't enough for John. It's like he's not just a bass player, but he's got a whole basement full of equipment. It's like he's got speakers that go to the ceiling and all this shit, and go to his basement and watch. I'm going to make your hair fall out playing the bass. But that was John. Very, very, very competitive. Very, very competitive. There was Billy Pagoda. The best way to describe Billy Pagoda was Dylan. No personality at all. Okay? Matter of fact, I was the only person I think that in existence that could hang around with Billy. Because he was. He just was that kind of guy that most people were scared of. He was very recluse. He always had his head down. Always had his hands in his pocket, you know. And he would say weird shit like, "I think I want to kill someone." You know, well, Billy, really? Like you want to go do that? You just want to go kill someone? Yeah. You think that's wise? No. Okay, well then, can we stop talking about killing somebody? He was weird. You know, Billy's aspiration for his life was to join the army. He admired the army. He wanted to go to war. And I'd have these conversations, and I said, like, Billy, like, I mean, you're talking about actually getting a gun and going out there and shooting people, and people are shooting at you, and, you know, like, how do you figure that that's cool? He goes, you don't get it, you don't get it. So Billy was just a weird bird in himself. Then I hung around with a girl named Claudia. Claudia was an interesting person, no doubt. She had come from the farm. She had left the farm of a large family and aspired to advance herself. Her father probably told her something like, you won't make it in the big city. Mm-hmm. And she said, no, I will. You watch me. She came to the big city. What happened? No, she wasn't going to make it. So she was a prostitute. Okay. So she wore like prostitute type clothing.
Like, what was that back then?
Well, back then it was like tight pants, leathery kind of pants, shoes, high heels, not high heels, but big platform type shoes,
Okay.
because she was short, and a really tight jacket with like a fur collar. Okay. And she was large breasted, so nothing seemed to fit her. And her shoes were definitely uncomfortable. There was no doubt. So, I mean, she had come from the farm. She probably had like gum boots on, work boots most of her life. But, you know, she was sort of trying to be prim and proper, but she wasn't. She was trying to be sophisticated as a person, and it just wasn't really there.
What was her like hair like?
What was her hair like? Her hair was long and it was like curly. She had the kind of hair that would take her like 5 hours before she would go out and do her hair up. So it was always made up. Okay. And Billy, on the other hand, was sort of always scruffy. Probably wore the same pair of pants repeatedly over and over again. John, of course, John was a little bit more competitive with me. If I had a big collared shirt, John would get a collared shirt. If I got platform shoes, John would get platform shoes. Okay, so I bought a 61 Thunderbird. John goes and buys a 67 Thunderbird. He's got to up me. Okay, and it was sleeker. It had the suicide doors, and it was white. Mine was red. You know, mine was a bit of a struggle. So it became a bit of a competition. Whose car are we going to cruise in? I wanted to cruise in my car. John's, no, let's cruise in my car. My car's better. He was right. So we would cruise more in his car than in my car. We're cruising one day, okay? And we're dressed fashionable, not for the weather, okay? Billy's got his normal kind of ski jacket thing on. Claudia's got her little short, you know, tight jacket with a little bit of a fur collar on it, her boots, her skin tight pants. John has a light coat on, but still a little bit warmer, like a woolly kind of coat, but not a big winter coat. Me, of course, I'm dressed for fall, because that's clearly more fashionable. Got my shiny shoes on, cruising in the car, driving around, getting bored. John says, well, let's go out this way to the country. So away we went. Gibbering and jabbering about nothing, lost track of time. Cruised, not drinking, no alcohol, no drugs, just driving. Stupid conversations about nothing. Driving in the country. It is January. It is 40 below outside. And remember, you kind of evolve from that. You know, spring becomes summer, summer becomes fall, fall becomes winter. You're always in a car, you're always in somewhere. So you're not really in tune with the elements outside. And we're driving down this road.
What kind of conversations would you guys have? Like, what would you want to talk about?
Oh, stupid things like photography. John would go, like, we're into photography, so John would talk about his camera and what better camera he got. And then, and I just got a new speaker. My dad got me a new speaker. Did your dad get you a speaker? No. No, my dad makes me go and buy shit. You know, and he would have he'd go on about his Fender guitar. You know, I just got a Fender guitar. So he would ramble about things that he'd bought or things that he had purchased or his dad had given him. And Billy, of course, was just quiet all the time. He just looked out the window.
Okay.
Claudia never had much to say, you know, just sort of hung. And I was more the idea guy. Well, what about if we did this? This is getting boring, okay? Well, we're cruised up and down the street like 15 times. Clearly nothing's happening. Let's go over here. Let's try this. Let's go over to this place. And that's where, okay, fine, we'll just go for a ride in the country. So away we go out into the country. But we it was me and John who used to have all the conversation and the dialogue. And most of the dialogue was always centered around some sort of competition
Yeah.
of some description. And yeah, I know my dad did this and my dad did that, and oh, he got this big contract, and yeah, I'm going to work for my dad, and my brother did this, and my brother did that, and I didn't have the same kind of stories to say to him. So we're driving down the road. We've lost track of time. I don't know where we are, but we're talking, so we're not really paying attention. And car stops dead. Just stops dead. It's like,
So you're in the your shotgun.
Sorry?
Are you sitting shotgun?
I'm shotgun. John's driving. Claudia's in the back behind me. And Billy's behind the driver.
Okay.
Car just stops dead.
What time is it?
It's probably about 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It's pitch dark. So we didn't really see any road signs. We didn't know where we were. You know, we were just sort of following this road.
What was the conversation that you were in the middle of? Do you remember?
You know, I think if we were talking about, I can't really remember, but if we were talking about anything, it would have been like, at the time we were in photography. And we were taking pictures wherever we went.
Did you have a camera with you?
Yeah, we had a camera.
Okay.
We always had a camera wherever we went because
What kind of camera was it?
we thought it was like a little Kodak camera, you know, with a wind-up thing. Actually, I think I have one similar to that. John's was bigger, of course. And part of going into the country is that, come to think of it, it was like, you know, a week or two before that, we would drive out into the country and we would take these pictures of anything and everything, like fence posts and the side of the road, and then we would compete with each other as to who took the nicer picture. And of course, yeah, John knew more about the camera. He knew about the f-stop, and he knew about the ASA and all that other shit. And I didn't know anything. I just pretended. I didn't know what it meant. I just went, well, yeah, I know. I'm trying that. And then shutter speed. And again, that's John. He just like becoming this guru. So we probably were talking about cameras and taking pictures, and we had been out into the country over the last few weeks, and that's probably where the idea came that, oh, well, let's go for a drive in the country.
Okay.
So we're driving. It's 11 o'clock, or thereabouts. Car dies, dead. Okay. So it's like, tries to start it. I said, like, fuck, John, like, what's wrong? You know, do you have any gas? Like, fuck. What are we doing out here that we're like out of gas? You know, like, who didn't pay attention?
Was pot involved?
No, there was no pot. It's just like, how are we out of gas? And then, of course, John is like, oh, fuck, don't worry about it. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, fuck, someone's going to come and we're just going to.
You were out of gas then. Though.
Yeah, we were out of gas. So it's like, someone's going to come. Okay? Because remember, we were cruising. Head out to the country. John says, oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Someone's going to come. You know, down the road. So we're sitting and we're waiting. Okay? Car clearly is not going to start. We're sitting, we're waiting, we're jibber-jabbering about nothing, just meaningless conversations. Claudia and Billy, typical, just sitting in the back seat, quiet, not saying much, because they weren't very, very intellectual individuals. So occasionally you get some sort of murmur out of them, you know. And so I said to John, this is like, shit, I don't know. We've been here a long time. You know? So, oh, just a minute. Someone's going to be here. I said, what time is it? And I remember saying, like, 12 o'clock.
What day
Okay.
of the week was it? Did you guys have
Like-
school the next day?
No, this is like the middle of the week. Yeah, we had school, but we pretty much went to school when we felt like it. Okay.
So none of
So-
you were expected home, or
No. Back at home, no one cared where you were. I could leave for 3 days and be gone for a week and no one would know. I came from a large family, and John was a rebel, an absolute rebel. He was a criminal, and he had a criminal mind. So he was always scheming about shit.
What did he do that was criminal?
You know? Oh, like in junior high school, him and Brent was one of the guys. They'd skip school and go shoplifting.
Okay.
And they'd go shoplifting on large volumes where everybody in the school would order blue jeans in a size, and they'd go out in the afternoon and go and steal it, and then come back, and cigarettes. And it got so bad in the school that the principal came to us one day and said, look at boys, he says, you got to stop this because parents are phoning here wanting to know where they can get discounted cigarettes from the shoplifters. So we were kind of like a bit of an organized crime unit.
Did you help him?
You know? No, I didn't do any shoplifting. And Billy's brother had been convicted of murder, his older brother, and was serving a life sentence in prison. And Billy's thing was, when he wasn't hanging around with me, he was hanging around with Kenny. And they were stealing cars all the time. So they go steal cars and go riding at night. Okay, so he was a bit of a psychotic kid. And then, of course, Claudia is a prostitute. So what we got is, when I think about it, we got Claudia, who's a prostitute, Billy, who's a car thief, John, who's a professional shoplifter and drug dealer, okay, whatever it was.
So how did Claudia
Acid.
go
Yeah, what did,
from being a prostitute to being your wife?
How? Well, that's a long story. Okay.
what was it like being a prostitute back then? Like, what did that entail?
Well, she worked in a massage parlor.
Okay.
Okay, so what she did in this massage parlor is guys would come in, and virtually she'd just give them hand jobs and blow jobs and shit and that sort of thing. And then they'd leave, and then 20 minutes later, someone else would come in.
Okay.
So she wasn't a street prostitute sitting on the street.
Okay. And how did she get
But-
that job?
You know what? I don't know how she got that job, but how I met her was through the massage parlor. Okay.
Get a massage.
No, because my brother-in-law, Teresa's husband, owned it.
Oh,
Okay, he owned the massage parlor.
How are you doing there, Dallas?
it's fine.
Anything?
My family's been up to some weird shit for a while.
So I would go to the massage parlor and hang out.
Okay.
And then that's when I said to Claudia, because she didn't really know anyone in town, and she started hanging out.
So were you seeing
And-
each other at that point in the car?
Yeah, not sorta.
Okay.
Okay. It's just like she just wanted to hang out, something to do. Like I said, you know, other than that, the only real friends she had, because she was new to Calgary at the time, was, you know, people from the massage parlor, which is not people you would go home and hang out
Was there
with.
an attraction between you two at the time?
Not really, other than she had big tits.
But like, were you on her radar?
I don't, you know,
100% you were. Anyway.
yeah, otherwise she wouldn't have been hanging out,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So, and John and those guys would go out and steal stuff. And so then I was the guy who would fence it all. So I would have like a trunk load of jackets and shit,
Okay.
and always something for sale, which then I used to sell stuff. And that's kind of like how we were supporting ourselves. And if we weren't selling grass or stolen goods or that sort of thing, and that's how we ended up buying our cars. And that's how we were getting the nicer clothes. And that's why we thought we were cool, okay? Yeah. And that's why we would cruise. Okay, that's why we could cruise.
How much were jerry cans back then?
How much was a jerry can? I mean, to fill your tank of gas was $8.
Oh my god.
You know, it was $8 to fill your tank of gas. And so we always had money on us. So it wasn't a problem, money. You know, we always had surplus cash as a result of our enterprise stuff and our scheming. And so the car breaks down. And I said to John, I said, like, fuck, John. Like, again, you're going to get me into trouble. John was always getting me into trouble of some description. It's like, fuck, well, no one's going to know it's stolen. 17 jackets? What am I going to tell? Yeah, none of them fit, so I need to sell 17 of them. I bought 17 of the wrong size jackets. But, I was gullible too. John just had that way. He was just sort of a fast talker and could work his way out of anything. Yeah, that guy got me into more trouble through my lifetime. Convinced me one time to go and cash some checks. I said, no, John, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Because he'd go into a bank and they'd ask for ID. And then he'd go, no, can't do that because they're going to know who I am. So he'd go to another bank. He was looking for a bank that would cash a check without any ID. So he talked me into going to my bank. And he said, see, did they ask you for ID? And I got convinced by it. Because he says, no, Stan. He says, they're not going to ask you for ID at your bank. But they are at the other bank, so, that's just not going to work. So here, no, go to your bank, because they won't ask you for ID. So I went in and I cashed the checks. Then I come out and I went, of course they're not going to ask me for any fucking ID, because they know who I am.
Did you get in trouble?
So I said, John, I says, yeah. I says, now I'm in fucking trouble. So I said to John, he says, yeah, no, only if they catch us. I says, fuck, they're going to catch us. It's like my name's all over that shit. They're going to catch us. So I made John, at that time, I made him drive us to the police station and turn ourselves in.
How'd you do that?
How did I get him to do that? I forced him. I said, John, I don't give a shit. You're like, we were pretty much inseparable, so it didn't matter where he was going to go, or wherever he was going, I was going to go. But we hated each other at the same time.
But what was the thing that pushed him to go to the bank? Do you remember? To the police station.
It was me, and I said, I don't care. Either you're coming with me or you're not.
Okay.
So he went, well, okay, no, you're going to implement me in this, aren't you? And I says, John, we both did this, and I'm going to the police station. Well, I better go with you then. So we turned ourselves in, okay? And I remember that, like, it was like the police station. It's like these two guys walk in the front door and go, we committed a crime. And we're here.
What did they do back then?
They tried everything, too. Oh, well, see, it was these circumstances. So it was at my house. John had, unbeknownst to me, him being the thief that he was, went into the mailbox and seen 2 government checks, shoved them into his pocket, okay? He knew that, well, those are checks, unbeknownst to me. So I didn't know where he got the checks.
They were from your mailbox.
They were from my mailbox.
So
So then he convinces me that he's going to go cash his checks. They're government checks. Of course, someone's going to cash them because they're government checks. And then we get this whole ID thing. But then, oh, fuck, now that my name's all over it. So I go down to the police station, turn ourselves in. And, okay, they went to the bank and they got the checks from the bank. Okay, the bank was empathetic. All these are young kids. And, it was nice of them to turn themselves in, clearly they've seen wrong. And, it wasn't quite as harsh of a world back then. And the police said, okay, well, we got these checks, but we actually have a name on the check. We need to go to this person. And they drove us to this person's house to say that we're going to go and give the money that you took from the check to the person who it actually belongs to. Okay? That was the gig. So they went to this house, which was about 10 blocks away from my mom and dad's house. The police come back out after like a long period of time, and they go, the guy refuses to accept the money.
Why?
Okay? So now the plot thickens. My dad and my mom had sponsored, there was a Polish family that they knew.
Okay.
So some Polish community people, same group as my mom and dad, had sponsored this guy to come and live in Canada. As soon as he came to Canada, because he was under sponsorship, he was having him look after all of his houses and said, I'm not going to pay you and you owe me. And so really the guy was just sort of being enslaved. My mom and dad caught wind of it and helped the guy out by moving him into the basement suite so he could get a job and make his way. And so there was this internal battle going with the uncle and the nephew who was living in our basement suite. And the old guy took his government checks and put them into our mailbox because it wasn't even our address,
Okay.
hoping the guy downstairs would cash them. And so he was convinced that I was covering up for his nephew who really cashed the checks and should go to jail. And there was no convincing him that we were just two idiots who walked in the middle of a much larger plot of conspiracy.
Perfect.
Like, you can't you can't make this shit up. So the cops said, you know, hey, he won't take the money. So sorry, boys, we're gonna have to take you down to jail. So that was the first time me and John went to jail. But, of course, I never talked to my parents about it.
And you
I,
went to the police?
no, nobody needed to know. And so, you know, but John was the cunning guy. He was like, you know, he phoned his brother. And his brother phoned their lawyer, their family lawyer. Oh, God, these guys got lawyers. We don't got lawyers. You know, and said, well, you got to ask in the morning for it to be released in your own recognizance, and they'll let you out. All night long, I'm trying to pronounce your own recognizance. Like, what if I fuck it up? What if I don't know how to say it? Like, what was that word again, John? Recognizance. I want to be released in my own recognizance. That's what your brother said. Your brother said that he talked to the lawyer, and that's what the lawyer said. You're not fucking lying to me, are you, John? You wouldn't be lying to me. No. You know, you want to be released in your own recognizance all night long. Recarnatedness. Oh, fuck. I'm never getting out of jail. I'm going to be like 80 years old. I can't do this word. Oh, I was in pain. Stood in front of the judge that morning. Okay. John went first. Thank God. Can I be released in my own recognizance? Yes, you can. And then they rambled some other things. I did the same. And they let us out. Oh, fuck, we're out of jail. Okay. Eventually I got charged. Had to go to probation.
What were you charged with?
Forgery.
Okay.
Had to go to probation officer. So I met this probation officer. Greatest guy. And I thought, you know what? I like the guy. This is good. I actually enjoyed going to see the guy. And I think I annoyed him. Because he kept saying, you don't have to come here. But they said once a week, but so I'm here. It's like, this is cool. I get to talk about John, my family matters. Using him like a therapist. He's like, look, dude. Like, I think we've done enough of this. Well, no, I still got 6 months of this left. You can't stop now. Like, I'm hooked on this, dude. And what I should have said, it was like, help me get away from John. So, me and John were fairly dynamic in our being, in our way. You know, we were. Which is why Billy wanted to hang out with us. That's why Claudia wanted to hang out with us. That's why people would hang out with us, because we were, you know, cool dudes. But not so fucking cool when we're sitting by the side of the road and it's 40 below zero and it's the middle of January and we got no fucking gas. It's like, well, thanks, John. You fucking did it this time. Okay? Like, fuck, I can't hang out with you anymore. Like, really, you always are getting me into trouble. And now here we are in the middle of fucking country. Well, we're not that far. I said, well, where are we? I don't know. Does anybody know where we are? Is there a sign? No, we haven't got a fucking clue. So it's pitch dark
So what did you
outside.
have with you in the car at that time?
Cigarettes, matches, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Our
Anything in
jackets.
your You
No.
got a camera? Is there anything in the
Camera.
glove box?
Nothing, the manual for the car in the glove box.
Okay.
No flashlight, no anything.
Okay.
Okay? So, but matches. You don't have lighters.
Okay.
It's like, do you got a match? I still do that today. Do you have a match?
Were
Yeah.
they like matchbooks or boxes?
Like, no matchbooks. Matchbooks. And everybody always had a pocket full of matches. It was just like the thing. So I said to John, this is like, fuck. Well, now we fucking, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
So John goes, no, 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 I don't know what you're so worried about. It's like, fuck, someone's going to come. It's like, not a big deal, you know?
Did Billy or Claudia say anything?
No, they never said much of anything. We pretty much dominated the conversation all the time. I don't think they really got a chance to say much, you know, nor did they want to.
Were they optimistic or?
No, no, they were just quiet, just very, very quiet, just like, you know, like nothing was, there's nothing wrong because John says there's nothing wrong. And I said, well, no, it's a problem. It's not a problem. I don't know what you're so worried about. It's not a problem. And I went, yeah, well, look, no, what do you mean it's not a problem? It's friggin' 40 below zero outside, dude. You know, we got no gas. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Had it been
Fuck.
the same temperature for a long time, or was
The which?
had it been cold for a while, or was it just a cold snap?
No, no, no. It had been cold for a long time.
Okay.
It was the cold. It was like cold. So no one's coming. And I said, now there's silence in the car. We're just kind of looking around and no one's coming. No one's coming. An hour's gone by. So okay, smarty pants, John. Where's this person? Where's this person who's going to come and save us? Oh, fuck, he's coming. He's coming. He's like, people drive down this road all the time. I said, well, do you even know what road we're on? No. Well, then how can you say that, John, that someone's just going to drive down the road when you don't even know where we are? I don't know where we are. No, 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 no. It's going to, yeah, someone's going to drive down the road. Someone's going to drive down the road. Silence. 12:30. It's fucking getting cold in the car. I said, John, I says, I'm fucking cold. Okay? It's like 1:45. It's not getting any warmer in here. You know? No one's come. Oh, they're going to be coming. They're going to be getting out of the bar here shortly. So they'll be here like in a few minutes. Just a few minutes. I said, John, there's no one coming. And I said, and I'm fucking cold. Billy's in the back seat, all bundled up. Now, got his head in his jacket in the corner. Claudia's in the back just shivering.
And what
Okay.
would Billy be wearing?
He had like a ski jacket on, you know, like almost like a worker type jacket. Not a ski jacket, not a fashionable one, but something like a cardigan type jacket,
What kind of shoes would he be wearing?
you know. Billy would have been wearing boots,
Like winter?
you know, Civil War boots.
Okay.
Okay, cowboy boots with the square toes,
Okay.
almost like an army type boot.
And what kind of pants?
Billy would have been wearing blue jeans.
Sorry?
Blue jeans.
Okay.
Okay, and so I said to John, I said, it's 1:45. This is like, fuck, dude. This is like, no one's coming, and I'm getting fucking cold. And John said, So we started lighting matches. Okay. No? But we only got so many matches, so we can't light all the matches. This is one thing that me and John did agree on. It's like, well, we started to analyze. Well, we can't light all the matches, so we'll light one match. Okay? And then we'll wait. Then we'll light another match. So
And
it's like,
What did you do when you lit the match?
we just held the match.
You all, like, just to try and
Just
warm
like
up the
hold
match?
it in the car,
Okay.
right? So I said, I don't know, should we go get some help or something, or should we do something? And then it was about 1:00 we started talking about our situation. John says, well, no, I mean, you can't leave your car. If you're stuck in a car, you can't leave. You're better chances of surviving in the car than going out into the elements. And I said, well, yeah, but it's getting fucking colder in here and colder. And then you're shivering. Now, there's not really not a lot of talking because we're just so fucking cold. You just, fuck, it was getting cold.
Did
It
you
was just
even
getting
see out the
cold.
windows, or were they all
No, the
open?
windows are all getting kind of foggy. And then it's like, now it's like 2 o'clock, okay, watching for a set of car lights. And we're talking, and John's talking, and John says, you know, when you freeze to death, because he knows everything. You know, when you freeze to death, they find people up north like they're naked and they're frozen. You get really warm, and then you die. Oh, well, this is good. Okay, this is good conversation. Although it's conversation that's we need to talk about. As it's getting colder and colder and colder, and we're shivering. We're just like, fuck, we're shivering. And okay, we'd light another match. You know, is there anything else in the car here? And I said to John, I says, fuck, John. I says, like, no one's coming. And I'm so fucking cold, you know. It's not like 2 o'clock. And then it's like, now I said, well, your whole fucking theory of people coming from the bar, that didn't work. So the bar's been closed for an hour. No one's driving down this road. It's not like 2:30. And I go, John, like, fuck, if no one has driven down this road by now, when is someone going to drive down this road? Probably morning, maybe when they're going to work or something. So I says, we got to sit here and we got to survive the night because I don't think anyone's coming. No, somebody's going to come. Billy and Claudia are listening to this conversation as we're going back and forth, talking about what's going to happen when you freeze to death and things to watch for. You know, well, I guess you get, you know, John starts, he says, John seems to know a lot about freezing to death. It's like, you know, well, you get delirious because they find these people naked. You know, how did you learn that? I don't know. You read in the comic book. I don't know where he got it from, but he says, yeah, no, people start going delirious and they don't know where they are as they're starting, their body temperature starts to freeze. So I said, okay, so Claudia and Billy get a little closer together in the back seat. And I moved away from the door because the door was cold and getting a little closer. We'd light a couple matches. And then Billy's like really quiet, just starting to do his little huddle thing. He's got his coat up over his head and kind of rocking in the back. And Billy gets out of the car. He goes to the back and he opens the trunk. He says, give me the keys. He goes to the trunk. Now I'm talking to John and I says, John, I said, well, like, fuck, what can we do here? Maybe we go get some wood and we start a fire. John says, you can't leave the car. I said, well, what if we got a big enough fire? No. Like, you'll die if you go outside. You can't go outside. You got to stay in the car. You can't do that. And I said, well, actually, there isn't much to burn. If you look out the window, it's just like prairie, for shit's sake. It's just like farmer's field. So I said, you can't burn anything. And that's when Billy got out of the car. Then he went out to the trunk. I just thought he was looking for something for us to burn because of the nature of the conversation. So I didn't think much of it. Then we talked a little bit more about no one's coming, John. No, somebody's going to come. I says, I don't know. But I'm getting fucking colder and colder. Then Billy disappears again. Then he comes back. He does this like 3 times. And I said to Billy, I said, what the fuck are you doing back there? Why do you keep going back to the trunk? Okay. Oh, nothing. I said, Billy, tell me what you're doing back in the trunk. And he goes, I'm lighting fires in the trunk. I said, why? He says, well, if I light a fire, he says, then I can live longer because I've had heat for that much longer. So his logic is that if you've had some heat, that you're going to sustain longer, like you're going to defrost before you freeze to death. You know, and I said, Billy, I says, that's not going to fucking work. But I turned to John at that point in time and I says, you know what? But I says, that gives me an idea. I said, John, let's light the car on fire.
That's fun. That's what I just
I said, no. I says, fuck it. John, we need to light the car on fire. Well, I'm not lighting you're not burning my car.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck, if the flame is big enough. He says, well, what happens when the flame's over? Then we freeze to death because we've gotten out of the car. And I go, well, yeah, but maybe somebody will see this big, huge monster fire, okay, and come. No, the car will just burn out, and then all you're going to do is, then now we don't have any shelter. So then we're going to die quicker. And he made sense, you know. But then some weird things started to happen.
What was he burning in the trunk? Do you know?
I don't know, probably like rags or something.
Like, what would he have in the trunk? Maybe clothes? Maybe jeans?
No.
Stolen?
If anything, I mean, these are 1967 Thunderbirds, and what you've got in the back of your car is a bunch of rags, because what you're forever doing is fixing something.
Okay.
So you'd have like oil rags, you know, of some description. Or in the case of John, yeah, he probably had something that he was cleaning his windows with, you know. Because we did keep our cars pretty shiny. That was it went with the boots and the buckle. So I said to John, I said, like, fuck, let's start the car on fire. I said, like, fuck it. You know, no, that's not going to work. Like, fuck, you know, what if it burns down and no one sees us, and then we now don't have any shelter? We got to stay with the car. We got to stay with the car. We got to stay with the car.
Then it gave you an idea.
No, it didn't give me any ideas. So I said, okay, fuck, we'll just sit here. We'll stay. And then I went, you know what? It's not so bad. And just sit and think about it. I said, it's not so bad. Like, it's actually getting cozy in here.
You said that when Billy went and was lighting things on fire, it gave you an idea.
To start the car on
Or to
fire.
start the car on
Oh,
fire.
so that's what gave you the
Okay.
Right. That's what's, yeah, like, no, fucking great idea about burning this motherfucker. Like, you know, is there rags back there? But throw it into the gas tank, John, the thing will explode. Okay? You know? And let this puppy burn. And so, anyways, John wasn't going to let me light the car on fire. Okay? And after debating it, I went, well, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe we just stay in the car. You know what? It's actually not that bad. Because it was so fucking cold. And now it just seems like it's cozied up. Maybe it got warmer outside. Okay? Maybe the matches are working, is what I thought. So we'd laid another match.
Oh, you didn't have any of the windows on the
No. And sit there and wait. And wait. Stare out the window. Light a match. But it was getting comfortable. And I remember it was like 3:30 in the morning. Pushing 4 o'clock. Okay? I thought, it's not so bad. And I got out of the car because I had to pee. And I peed. And it freaked me out. There's no steam. Like, no steam. It is fucking 40 below zero. There should be steam. And I got back in the car and I said to John, something's wrong here. I said, I just peed and there's no steam. And John said to me, he says, like, well, I don't know, what does that mean? I said, John, this is like, I'm not cold anymore. And there's no steam. I said, John. And this conversation would go with a few ideas. Like I said, John, there's no steam. John would just stand there and stare. I'd look out the window. I go, and I turn and I go, and I'm not cold anymore. I turn and look to the window. I'm trying to figure this out. John just looks at me. And I turn to John and I says, John, something's wrong here. And I said, See that farm light over there? Way off in the distance. I said, somebody lives where that light is. I said, I'm going to that light. And John said, fuck, you can't do that. You're going to cut down the time when you could freeze to death the minute you leave this car. And that's a long distance. And I said to John, because I had been sitting there thinking about this, and I thought, no one's coming. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not cold anymore. There's no steam. It was Friday night. Actually, it was a Friday night because I remember I said, it's Saturday. Like, who goes to work on Saturday? So if somebody does, it's going to be like, that's another 5 hours before anyone's going to drive down this road. I said to John, I said, you know what, John? I says, we're going to fucking die here. We're not going to make it. There's no way we're going to make it. And I'm not cold anymore. And so I said, I don't give a fuck. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die trying. I said, I'm going to that light. You guys don't have to go. But I said, if I get to that light, I will send for help. You guys stay in the car. But I'm going for that light. No, you can't. No, you can't. I can't. I says, fuck, John, you know what? No, I'm going for the fucking light. So I opened the car door and I started walking down the road. John opens the car door. He runs beside me. He says, fuck, he says, if you're going, I'm going. I said, John, you don't have to. It's like, I'm going to go to the light. He says, well, fuck. It's like, John, I don't know something that I'm not telling you, okay? Because now he's suspicious that I must know something that I'm not saying. So away we go, walking down the road. So John says, and we start talking, and I said, John says, we're going to get delirious, because that's what happens when people freeze to death. He says, and we're not going to know what we're going to do, or we're going to start taking our clothes off, like that people up north that they found naked who were frozen to death. You know? But he just kept saying these naked people who froze to death because they were delirious.
The Donner Party ate each other.
So John says, he says, well, we got to keep talking to each other. And I says, okay. I said, I agree, John. I says, we got to keep talking to each other. I said, and we got to keep in mind that we're going to probably start to hallucinate or some weird shit, that we're going to start taking our clothes off. Because John kept saying that. When you freeze to death, you take your clothes off because you're not cold anymore. And getting back to the car, when I went, I'm not cold anymore. This is a problem, okay? And there's no steam. If there was any eluding, it was the steam thing that hit reality to me that, no, I'm cold. Cold, but I can't feel it. So we started walking down the road. And I said to John, I says, we got to keep talking to each other. No matter what it takes, we just got to keep talking. Are you still there? Are you still there? I says, we'll just keep talking to ourselves and we'll just keep going to the light. We'll just keep going to the light. The road is covered in snow, and it's that snow that just crunches. That cold, cold snow, like, you know, it is like that 40 below. I'll never forget the sound. Almost like a squeak every time your foot hit the pavement or the snow. And it wasn't a very well-traveled road. You know, I mean, the road, there was no ruts in it, but it had snow on it. Snow covered that was all flattened out from the cars. And so we're walking. I turn behind, and now you can't see the car. The car's gone in the distance. Can't see it. All you can see is the road, but you can't see the car anymore. And there's the light. The light is still a long way away. As we're walking down the road, there's the light. Suddenly I stopped. And I looked over, and there was a hole in the fence. There was no road. There was no car traffic, no light, nothing. Just a ditch with a piece of fence missing. Okay? A wire fence. There and there. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And I turned and I said, I'm going this way, John. John grabs me and he goes, you can't. No, you can't. You're hallucinating. It's like the light. We got to look at I stand. We got to keep going to the light. We got to keep going to the light. And I said, John, I got to go this way. He goes, no. He says, you can't. You got to stay focused to the light. This is what I'm talking about. It's like you're hallucinating. It's like you got to go this way. And I said, no. I said, I'm going that way. So he says, I'm going to the light. I said, you go to the light. I'm going this way. So I walked down the ditch, in through the snow. The snow was like this deep. And I started to walk up over a little hill, then over another little hill. And fuck, there was a cabin.
Why did you take that road?
I'll tell you, this is why. I could feel this. It was like something grabbed me and pulled me, like tugged on my shirt to make me look at the hole in the fence. And I went, I have to go this way. I just have to go that way. I'm adamant. I have to go that way.
Did he follow you?
Of course John followed me. Like, what do you know that you're trying to trick me? You know? So he follows me. He's behind me. And he's going, I'm telling you, Stan. He says, this is fucking wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. So we went up over this little hill, up another little hill. And then there's this cabin. And it's like a 3-room little tiny house. So John says, he starts yelling. And I said, yes. I says, yell. In case someone's home, we got to get them to come and open the door. So we started yelling at the cabin. But by the time we got to the cabin, like I'm pretty fucked up. I don't know what John's doing. He's rambling. All I hear is a mumble in the background. But I cannot distinguish in the cabin where the windows are or where there's a door. All I know is there's a wall there. It's like that garden shed there. Okay? Out in the back. So I went hand over hand as I walked around the cabin trying to find a door. I was feeling for a door because I couldn't comprehend at that point where the logical place was for the door. Then I felt the door, banged on the door. No one came to the door. So I banged again, and I banged louder, and I banged louder, and no one came to the door. I said to John, I said, there's nobody home. I said, fuck, here's the door, John, because he's like rambling somewhere on the other side of the cabin. And I said, John, I found the door. I found the door. So he comes around and bang on the door, and I says, no, John, there's nobody home. And I've been banging on the door and banging on the door and banging on the door and yelling and saying, hello, 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 please open the door, open the door, open the door. And so then I thought, okay, so I took a few steps back and I threw myself against the door to break it open. And fuck, I bounced right off of it. Like it was like hitting a fucking wall, you know, into the snow. I peeled myself off of the snow and I went, there's no fucking way I'm going into this cabin. So I threw everything I had at that door. I just threw myself against the door. Fuck, the thing just flew open. Okay? And it was the weirdest experience in my entire life. When that door opened, okay, it was, the only way I can describe it is, it's Thanksgiving. A turkey's been in your oven all afternoon. You open the door and you put your face too quickly to the open of the turkey door. That thing hit me as if I opened an oven door that had a 450-degree turkey baking in it when it hit my face. I'll never forget it. It was like, it was just... So John quickly came in behind me. There was a kitchen. There was a little room. And I think there was a bedroom there, but there was a room that was kind of like a living room. And there was a phone hanging on the wall. Okay? And the phone had a button on the side. So it was a party wall, party phone, where people shared the same phone and you had to like party line phones.
You'll have to explain it to us later.
Yeah. So saw the phone, looked around, the light went on, and there was a stove over in the corner. So I went in there and it was just like fucking so incredibly warm that I stood by the stove. John stood by the stove, and then the shake started to come. Okay? Started to come. I don't know how long we were there. Like, I don't think, we're not there long. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And I said to John, I says, we have to go back and get him. The guy's in the car. John says to me, he says, no, he says, I'm not going to, he says, someone's going to get on the phone. I got to phone my lawyer because there's going to be lawsuits over this.
Do you know
I go, who the fuck are you going to sue? You know, it's just like 4 o'clock in the morning.
So how long do you think it took you to get from the car to the cabin?
You know, probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Did you check the time when you were at the cabin?
No. It was in the car, though, that I remember. It was like 4.
Was it still dark?
It was dark. It was dark like this, you know. So I do remember it was like 4 o'clock when I went, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Then away I go. And so I said to John, I says, we got to go back and get him. No, I got to get on the phone. There's a phone there. I got to get on the phone. I got to get a hold of my lawyers. My lawyer's got to get on this right away because we're going to be suing people. He says, this is just John. He's like, yeah, this is definitely a fucking lawsuit. I got shit to do. I got to get on the phone. So I said, well, no, we got to go get those people. No, you go get those people. I'm just going to be on the phone.
Do you know what
And
he meant? Like who he was in the suit?
No, but that was John, right? He was creating a diversion of why he was not going to leave the cabin.
Yeah, he's bullshitting.
He's got warmth.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go.
He doesn't want to let go. And I said, give me your fucking jacket. Okay? You can stay here. I don't give a shit. He says, give me your fucking jacket. No, it's my jacket. I said, John, you're giving me your fucking jacket. So I grabbed his jacket and I threw his jacket on. And so I said, I got to go back and get those guys. And I know that time is absolutely of the essence here. I knew that. So I left the cabin and I started walking out back to the road, walking back to the car. As I'm walking back to the car, I'm going, okay, now I'm getting cold again. It's like, okay, now it's like the heat thing is all gone. And as I'm walking to the car, I went, well, fuck, I can't get to the car. What if I don't get to the car? Okay? Like, I'm not feeling very strong here. It's like I'm having a hard time walking. And it's a struggle. So I grab matches from my pocket, and I'm lighting matches. And I'm thinking, okay, well, the guys in the car, if they see the light of the match, that they'll see me, and they'll get out of the car, and they'll come, so I don't have to walk so far. So I'm lighting these matches, like trying to send signals to them to fucking get out of the car and come to me, come to me, come to me, come to me. Well, fuck, it's a struggle. So I get to the car, and I remember I came to the hood of the car, and I'm banged on the car, and I said, come with me, come with me, come with me, you guys, come with me, come with me. And fuck, well, they're not coming. They're not getting out of the car. So I went around to the driver's door, you know, and there's Billy and Claudia both slid over to the other side of the car like this, trying to stay away from the door that I was at. And I said, open the door. All the fucking doors are locked. And I said, open the fucking door. And I'm banging on the window, and they won't open the door. So I go around to the other side of the car, and then they've slid back over to the other side of the seat. The two of them are like this, pinned against the other door. And that door is all locked. And I'm banging on the fucking window, and I says, open the fucking door. Will you open the fucking door? I said, I know where there's shelter. Open the fucking door. They finally opened the door. I was just like furious at them. You know, they creeped open the door and like stood like this, like looked at me like I was like I was gonna.
Could they see you? How fogged up were the windows still?
You know, they could. Yeah, they knew I was there.
Could they tell it was you?
Oh well, yeah, my voice alone. Like,
So,
of course they knew it was me.
So probably.
So I said,
Billy.
yeah, it was Billy. I said, Billy, I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? I said, they finally opened the door and pinned against the wall, against the other door, as I opened the door. I said, come with me. I said, what the fuck is wrong? Why wouldn't you open the door? And Billy goes, are you going to kill us?
Yeah, he probably was talking to Claudia.
Are you going to kill us?
Morbid imagination.
Right. And I said, Billy, what do you mean I'm going to kill you? Where's John? How come you have his jacket on?
And what do you want to bet they heard you guys shouting together in the distance and probably thought it was a fight?
Maybe. You know.
You know, just hear John scream and then silence, and then you come back wearing his jacket. And Billy's just like whispering to Claudia, he's like, oh fuck. He did what I would have done.
He did what I would have done.
That would be an interesting conversation to listen to, the two people who didn't talk when you were talking and you guys weren't there.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and maybe they saw me coming. You know?
Yeah, they saw the matches. Maybe Billy would like make up something like, you know, he's luring us out.
Where's John?
Yeah.
What did he do with John? Or is that John? Or who is it? Who knows what they're saying to each other? But anyway, so I said, I know where there's shelter. I says, I know where there's a cabin. Come with me. First thing Billy said is, he says, where? Just tell me where it is. I said, I'm not going to tell you where it is. It's like, follow me. No, I just want to know where it is. And like he's like, now running down the fucking road. And I said, Billy, I says, you wait for us. Because now I got to drag Claudia out. Because she can't walk. Okay? And she's kind of like a noodle. And so I grabbed her arm and I'm walking down the road and she's sort of noodleish. And Billy says, just tell me where it is. Tell me where it is. He's fucking running down the road. And I said, I'm not telling you where it is. I said, Billy, you get back here and you help me with her. I'm not going to tell you where it is unless you help me. So then he came back and I said, grab her arm. And literally her fucking feet were just dragging down the road as we dragged her down the road. And he kept saying, just tell me where it is. Tell me where it is. I said, no, Billy, because I said, you're going to let go of her. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Now, of course, when you walk up to the hole in the fence, you still can't see where it is. But I knew where it was. So that's when I turned and I said, started to walk down the road. And he kept saying, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? The second he saw the cabin, fucking let her go. And bolted to the cabin. I thought, you piece of motherfucking shit. So I dragged Claudia, brought her to the cabin. Door was open. Billy had already now in the living room by the fire, by the little heater. And I could see him and John. And John's still rambling about suing lawyers and gonna get lawyers, and his hands going up like this. And he's like, people will fucking pay for this. And, you know. And so I pushed Claudia into the cabin. She went in. And I stood there. That's all I had. I didn't have any more. Like I had no more. Cabin doors opened. And I'm standing in the door as I pushed her through the door. Because she didn't know where the door was either. It was like, no, there's the door. Here. Go in. As I stood there in the door, everything went black. Gone. I passed out. I woke up. I don't know how long it was. Maybe a second. Maybe it was like 10 minutes. Who knows? But I woke up with my face on the floor. On the kitchen floor. I'll never forget it. As my eyes opened, was the legs of the fridge and the linoleum. One leg. And I looked underneath the fridge. And I just stared at it for the longest time. Then my head moved. And I looked up at the fridge. And I realized that I was lying on the floor of the kitchen. Those guys still didn't have a clue. I peeled myself off the floor, went into the living room, and I just stood there and I just listened. Like I was comatose. John still rambling. They're both three of them standing by the fireplace. This little heater, little gas
And they
heater
just
like
left you in the
this.
kitchen, laying on the floor.
Just left me in the kitchen. Without a doubt, in my mind, I know for a fact that if I had fallen outside, I'd be dead today. I would be dead today if I did not fall into the building.
So the door led into the kitchen then, the one that you kicked in.
The door went straight into the kitchen. This whole building was not as big as this entire room. And as I stood there, and I watched the three of them standing beside the heater, and then of course now they all got the shivers, and Claudia was shivering like this, and Billy's shivering, and John's just like rambling about, when my fucking lawyer gets a hold of this, he says, these piece of shit, it's like, they should put signs out there. There's no reason for this kind of stuff. It's like, they should have marked this place on the road. It's like, it's just going on and on. And then it's like a murmur in the background, his voice, where I'm only getting bits and pieces of it. And I'm watching the two of them stand there as I stood there, and I stood there for the longest time, and I went, you guys don't even know where I am. It was like I was non-existent. Then I went and I sat on the couch, and it took a long time. I just sat there and stared. It took a long time before the shivers started to come back again. And then more shivers. And then more shivers. Then I went, what happened? This place was so warm. It's like, why am I so fucking cold? It's like, why is it so fucking cold in here? And they were all shivering, standing like this. And I came to realize the only thing that was heating that entire building was the pilot light from that stove. We never did turn it on. It was only the pilot light. So when they talk about having a candle in your car to burn, can save your life. Fuck, it was only the pilot light that was heating that entire building.
Was the door still open from when you had fallen?
I don't know how the door got closed. To tell you the truth, I never closed the door. Okay? And I'm assuming the door was closed. But I don't know if the door was closed. To tell you the truth. It's kind of like, when you just wake up.
Yeah.
You just wake up and you're just like, not really there. I wasn't really there. It was kind of like an echo. That sort of hum.
So this heater, it was like a wood burning stove,
No, they had these little things that were metal. They were like this and like this. And they had like grills on the top. And on the side, virtually, these heaters had a bit of a coil in them, but it was nothing more than a log lighter, and that you would light, or had a pilot light, had a dial on it that you would turn, almost like same type of dial like on a water tank. And then it would heat up, and it was just like low or hot.
So that was just the pilot light. No one turned it up.
No one turned it up. It was just the pilot light heating that room. And in hindsight, I probably saved our lives. Because you can't just instantly heat up that fast.
And eventually you turn it on.
No, we didn't turn it on.
Never.
Never. No, we didn't turn it on. And then, I don't know how long we were there in there for. Probably hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Okay. But I remember that the sun was coming up. And there was light coming in. So it was daytime. Okay? So that would have been 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe.
What month was it?
January. Like the middle of January. But I remember the sun started to come up. And as we're standing in the cabin, and I'm just sitting in the chair, freezing to death. Okay. And I remember the sun coming up because I remember the light started to happen. And I looked over in the doorway into the kitchen, and there's 2 mounted police standing there. They didn't say a word. They just were standing there. Okay? So we didn't even see them come in. 2 Mounties standing there. One had big fur hat on, 2 big Mounties. They didn't say much. They just said they just took us and put us into the car. Well, the car was like hot. And they drove us to Cochrane. Okay? I didn't know we were in Cochrane, but I figured it out later that we were in Cochrane.
Did you ever figure out what road you were on?
Yeah, I know exactly where we were on. Yeah. It's the road to Bragg Creek, west of Elbow Springs. That's the road that we were on. In those days, that was like desolated. There's nothing there. I can almost show you exactly where we stopped on that road, do you know? But again, keep in mind, like there was nothing out there. It was non-existent. So they took us to the police station, the RCMP station. Took me into a room, separated us, put me into a room. And the guy said, I'm going to write your statement. Tell me what happened. And I remember I told him the whole story. It was 12 o'clock when I finished telling him the story. So it took hours for me to tell him the story as he wrote it all down. And I said to him, how did you find us? Yeah. I said, was it because John phoned you? Because remember the phone thing? He said, no. He said, we were driving down the road and saw your broken car. And we followed your tracks. And we saw the tracks go into the field. And he said, you guys were lucky. And John's brother came and got us at noon. I went home. Okay, John's brother dropped me off at home. Unbeknownst to my entire family that any of this stuff existed. As soon as I came into the house, I went straight down into my bedroom and I fell asleep. So this is like Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I woke up Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Creeped out of bed. Walked upstairs in the basement. Sat on the kitchen table, and there's a family of 8 of us. And they were clanging and in the dishes, and Teresa was yelling at Mary. Mary was yelling at Katrine, and it was just that whole... And I thought, God, these are beautiful sounds. I really did. I embraced the clanging and the noise and my mom and the dishes and the arguing as I just sat there in the kitchen. I never told anyone. Never told a soul. Didn't tell my mom, didn't tell my dad, so none of them knew that that's what I did on Friday night. It was about a week later, and I thought about it, and I thought, it's time, a couple of days later, did we really get that close, or was it John talking about it that made it seem like we were going to fucking die? But really, we could have survived for months there. And John came with an article in a newspaper, and it was on the same road where they did find a man frozen from a broken car at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not making that shit up. From that point on, I never left the city. No friggin' way was I going out into the country. 10 years had passed. I still refused to go to the country. Okay? Just was not going to happen. And didn't matter what vehicle I got into, first thing I always look at is how much gas is in that vehicle. And I still, to this day, I do that. It doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees above zero. First thing I do is I look at the gas gauge to see how much gas is in that car. Still to this day, some 45, 50 years later, cannot break the habit of how much gas is in this vehicle. 10 years had passed. I ended up working on a job that was way out into the country. It was a big house for Clay Riddell, who just recently passed away this year. He was a billionaire in the oil patch. And we built this monster house. It was 12,000 square feet. It was 1983, same period as when this house was built. Same type of woodwork like this. We started in the spring. We put the foundation in. Summer went by. We'd frame the building. Oh, truckload after truckload of materials would come. This place was just massive. Summer became fall. Siding's on the building, windows are in, furnaces are operating. Now we've got all this woodwork to do on the inside. Fall becomes winter. Middle of January, me and another guy were working late, which we did. We did a lot of that. So it's about 8 o'clock at night. And we're putting up cedar like this in the swimming pool. And the guy's name was Paul Graff. Firefighter. He became a firefighter. So I said, okay, I'm going to go start the truck and we'll go home. I think that's enough for today. It's like 12 hours of work. I went out to start the truck and, oh shit, the tire's flat. So I went in and I told Paul, I said, oh fuck, the tire's flat in the truck. So I said, well, no cell phones, no phones. I said, well, I know where the farmhouse is just down the road, and I'm going to walk to the farmhouse there, and I'll use the phone, and I'll phone my brother, Danny, and ask him to bring me a tire, okay? So I started walking down the road, and
What time of year was this?
middle of January. It's cold. It's 40 below zero. Crunchy snow. I know where the farmhouse is. I've seen it. I drove by it all summer long. It's down the road, right? It's like probably from here a little further than, you know, go to the top of the hill? Maybe a little bit further than the top of the hill, but like halfway to the next top of the hill. Okay, so not that far, right? I started to walk, and I was walking down the driveway, and all of a sudden, bang! I was exactly halfway of where I came from to where I was going. Exactly halfway. Bang! I was on that road. And I never left it. Everything else was non-existent. And I'm still freezing on that road. And I never left it. Fuck, I could not breathe. I could not breathe. I started to hyperventilate. Everything just fucking freaked me right out. It was like the whole thing tricked me, but I'm still on the road. I did not survive. I died on that road. Or I'm about to die on the road, and this is what it's like when you're about to die. Could not breathe, couldn't catch my breath. I quickly shoved my head into my jacket, started to breathe my own air. I said, I got to keep walking. I got to keep moving. I got to keep moving. And every step I took, I became closer, and I had moved past the halfway point of where I had come from. Every step I got closer to that farmhouse, I started to recapture myself and be able to put myself together into one piece. When I walked up to that farmhouse and I knocked on the door, they looked at me like they'd seen a ghost. And there's no doubt in my mind that I probably just looked like fucking hell. That's how dramatic it was. And that's really where the story starts. It's 10 years later when it all came back to me. That's the story. Would not have been in the country, but because I was working on a house, and spring became summer, summer became fall,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that winter was there.
So when you say you wouldn't go into the country, it's that you would never leave the city in winter.
In winter, just no way was I going out of the city.
I have lots of questions. But can I use that bathroom?
Yeah.
Or is yeah.
Yeah.
Probably another bathroom that's just a curtain.
That's just a curtain. Okay. Okay.
Which is okay. I mean, you can. No, actually, use the bathroom.
Oh God.
But
Let's take a break. Let's do it on this side here.
it wasn't long after that that I. No, actually, I shouldn't say that. But of course, we all dismantled, sort of.
Okay.
John went off on his own. He ended up getting married, but John was an abuser too. He liked to do lots of drugs and drink a lot.
Okay.
So he ended up getting married, had 2 kids, and virtually he drank himself almost to death. His wife left him, his kids left him. His family, in a last-ditch attempt of his alcoholism, sent him to Yugoslavia, where they had a family wine vinery, like a farm there.
Okay.
He's an alcoholic. Send him to a vineyard.
Yeah. But they sent him to the vineyard, but he also contracted diabetes and went blind. So the caretaker's there, and Steve, who we lived across the street, he's just been there ever since. Blind and diabetes and probably dead. I haven't spoken to him for 100 years. Could I get a hold of him? I could, probably through his brother, if he's still alive. Billy, I don't know what happened to Billy. Billy did join the army. He did move on. He did go to Egypt. He did go overseas. That was his passion. And he came back from overseas. He bought me some jewelry. I actually still have it to this day. You know, a gift. And then he just sort of disappeared, and I have no idea how to get a hold of him. Kenny may know how to get a hold of him. But he's like Dylan. He's a recluse, an introvert individual. Claudia, due to circumstances, yeah, she kind of clamped onto me, hung on to me, to the point where we just, not because we loved each other, we just ended up getting married. Lived with her for 10 years. We divorced. She moved to Toronto. She always wanted to live in the city in an apartment building. So she did. So she moved to Scadding Avenue in Toronto, somewhere on the 10th floor with a balcony, which is perfect for her. It's exactly what she wanted. The man she met was a good man, used to take care of her. She ended up on prescription drugs. He left her. And last year she died. And the caretaker found her dead with her cats. She was a cat lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was suffering from schizophrenia,
Didn't she own
depression.
a tiger or something?
She said that she owned a tiger at one time, which doesn't surprise me that she didn't, or that she would not have. And so she was delusional. She would phone me. I would talk to her, a couple times a year. One time I actually brought her here about 10 years ago or something, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And she hadn't changed. She still was Claudia, exactly what she was. But I would talk to her, a couple times a year. And about 3 weeks before she died, she left a message on my answering machine on my phone. And just before that, when I had talked to her about 4 months before that, she told me, she said, whenever she would talk to me, I'd say, Claudia, we're not married. You do realize that. And she would go rambling as if I was going to be coming home any minute now. And, I'm only away on vacation and this weird shit. And I have to keep reminding her that, no, we're not married. I didn't think much of it. Then last time I talked to her, she said they were repairing the deck on her apartment. After 20 years of living there, probably needed some maintenance. But she was complaining because they had boarded up the windows with plywood. So the workers on the other side were repairing the deck. And we said, well, I don't understand. Why did they board up the plywood? She said, they boarded it up after I complained because the workers were coming in and raping me. So I said, well, let me understand this, Claudia. So I said, the guys who are working on the deck, they just keep coming in and they keep raping you. She says, yes, I keep telling them. I told their boss that these guys keep raping me. So I said, well, Claudia, does that have anything to do with why they put the plywood up so you can't see them? Or you can't talk to them? Because you're not making any sense. Anyways, she died from prescription drugs.
What was she like before, though? Like, what were her, like, mannerisms like? Like, what did she...
What kind of a character was Claudia?
Yeah.
Well, she was fairly bubbly and full of life for all intents and purposes, but she was not well spoken. So she would have a hard time in verbalizing. So she would do a lot of, when you think about, there's things like when you're thinking and then, I just don't understand those people, why they wear those clothes. Mm-hmm. And so she never really made a lot of sense. She just kind of like nodded at what she had to say. But she had these great, big, huge fucking tits. and she wore these like low-cut things, so most people just stared at her tits.
Okay. What was she like into? Like, you guys were into photography. Billy wanted to be a soldier. Like,
Claudia ended up being a draftsperson. Okay, because I was married to her, a draftsperson, but her whole life was around inside the house. It was like always having to have perfect furniture and everything had to be perfect. And she was a clean freak. So first thing in the morning, we'd vacuum the house. The minute we got home from work, we would vacuum the house. And all she ever did was chores of some description. The minute she walked in the door, it was like, no, today we have to clean out every drawer in the kitchen because there's crumbs somewhere in there. So she'd take all the silver out and wash everything. And then today is shoe day. So she'd go every shoe in the house, and then she'd sit down and she would polish all the shoes. And so, as far as a wife goes, she would cook, farm cooking, did the dishes, houses were always clean. I would go to work, and she would say, go to work. And I worked all the time. I worked 7 days a week. But she was a simple farm girl, but tried to pretend like she was a big city girl.
okay.
And always tried to pretend that she was rich. Like you met her, right? She had that sort of,
Just sort of
posh. She was always that way.
Oh, this is unacceptable. This is, back when I was, and like comparing things and describing how
She was very rude.
uncivilized
Like-
things were.
Yeah. She'd have that sort of Victorian type pose
Okay.
to her all the time. And very prim and proper, but she was mean. Like she'd go, "Is that the color of your hair?" "Those are the shoes that you wear?" you know? That kind of person.
So what did you like about her?
Oh, she could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch.
Okay. Personality.
We had a good relationship. We had a good sexual relationship, and that was about it.
I had a question.
She brought stability to my life, to work, because prior to that, there was no stability.
Yeah, there was like a rhythm, a domestic rhythm.
A domestic rhythm and a work ethic. And
Yeah, didn't she like give you amphetamines, like sneak like speed into your morning breakfast so that you would work harder?
yeah, well, she was forever like, let's paint this wall. No, it's going to do this. We're going to do that. It's like, Claudia, I work all day long, and that's what I do is construction work. And I come home and I got to paint, or I got to do more construction work. It's like, I don't want to do construction work. Well, you have to. So I would do it just to keep her quiet. And then she always had a project. And so she wanted the bay window in the bedroom. And I would put it off. I says, yeah, well, maybe next weekend, but this weekend here. And I didn't want to do it. So I would go to work instead. And I thought, well, I'd rather go to work than tear my house apart. So she says, you promised me you're going to do that window. I said, okay, yeah, this Saturday I'll do the window. And so that Saturday morning I woke up and she had made this big breakfast and eggs and scrambled eggs and toast and bacon. And it was all a really nice breakfast. And so I'm feeling, okay, I'm obligated. I guess I'll do the bay window, which meant cut the window out and take the wall apart. And so had the breakfast and started tearing the window apart, and I went, wow, like it's noon and the window's finished. Like I've ripped the walls out and I put a new beam in and I've got it all drywalled, and it's like, and I've installed this entire bay window, and I'm going like, where's all this energy coming from? And then she told me, she says, there was no way I was going to not let you not do that window today. So she spiked all my food with a whole bunch of diet pills. And of course I was just like flying at the top. It was like 7 feet off the ground.
Yeah. So she was like, maybe not well spoken, but she was kind of like clever. Like she could manipulate a little bit and stuff. I don't know.
The bay window got done.
The bay window got done.
Okay. Like, what kind of music did all of you kind of listen to the same music, or?
Yeah, it's 1972. The Beatles. The Beatles, Rolling Stone, George Harrison. It was on a religious kick. And no, this was long before the music would have been the Beatles.
Okay. Did any of them have any like habits or like nervous tics or like things about them that they used to do? Like when you think of each of them, the way that they would stand, or like if they had any.
John had a thing with his hands, like he would talk with his hands all the time. He would talk with his hands, and he had sort of a way with his cigarette, like, people just smoke like this or like this, but John smoked like this, okay, and had kind of a little bit of,
Keep it like that for a second. I want to take a picture of you. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, Harvey's calling me. Can you take a picture of your dad? With
Yeah.
a cigarette like that? Hello? Hey. No, I put it in my backpack.
Got it.
Where smoking in those days
I
for
don't know
most
if you
of
ever
us
found the charger for it though.
was like that.
Mhm.
Like it was a, you had a manly
Dude.
persona.
Oh,
I
my
had
But
to knock
goodness.
on the front because I had to just
Right.
guess.
he had small
And
fingers. He
sometimes
had like,
just guess.
he almost had like a chip. He was like a chipmunk.
Hmm.
You know? His
I
head
don't
was
think
like-
so, and I don't know because they all use their boy names, and so I only think
Mhm.
it's
And
six,
Claudia was
and
on.
there's 7 of them including Lisa. So if you can tell me which one I'm missing, then I'll decide.
You know?
Yeah, constantly fussing with her hair and, you know, sort of looking up like, you know, too good for this.
Yeah. Too good for this. And the best way to describe Billy is just watch Dylan. Exactly like Dylan.
Just always kind of like stern.
Stare. Don't know what he's thinking.
Mm.
I don't think he knew what he was thinking.
No, I didn't. So I'll need these as email. And what about
But we knew it all. We knew everything.
Todd?
We were too smart for our own good.
Sorry, I gotta go, Carly.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah. Anyways, that's the story.
Is it still recording?
Huh?
Is it still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry. Did you go through like the other two? How they would talk?
Oh, Claudia was always sort of head up, fussing with her hair and just kind of like touching and, you know, I'm too good for this,
Okay.
you know, sort of thing. And Billy was very sort of like,
She overcompensated from being a farm girl.
Okay.
I knew that after I got to, of course, know her and went to the farm and went and saw where she came from, which was, you know, very farm-like, farm clothes, and, you know, people got dirty. So she was all about the exact opposite of that. Everything had to be, she did not want to look like, she didn't want anybody to know that she came from the farm. She wanted everybody to think that she came from the big city,
and Billy
like
was
Victorian.
Billy's like stern, kind of staring, like a little bit too serious, wouldn't really lighten up.
You have like 2-word sentences. What?
Is there anyone like you've seen that you could compare them to?
Like celebrities?
Yeah, or like anyone even you know.
Pin this back on.
You know, I don't know. I can't think of any celebrities' names. I'd have to go through your
Characters.
you two and say, like, Dylan, as an example, is Billy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Danny DeVito would have been John, but tall and thin.
Okay.
That kind of gangster type person.
Kind of the used car salesman vibe.
The used car salesman vibe, absolutely, for sure. And Claudia was pretending to be prim and proper,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know.
Can you think of like a character from a movie that sort of reminds you of her or anything like that?
You know the woman who wants to steal the dogs in the cartoon.
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that, but not as good looking.
Okay. What Cruella de Vil have you seen? What?
No, I think he means that Cruella wasn't as good looking as Claudia.
Okay.
No, I thought no, Cruella was better looking.
What
Oh.
movie?
You know.
Okay. Okay. you have any pictures from back then?
Yeah, I do.